Good morning, everybody. I hope everybody's doing well this morning. We have a lot to talk about this morning. This is 3/26 of 26, Thursday. Here in Texas is 9 a.m., and I am your receptionist. I am here to give you all the news of what's happening today. I have a few stories that I want to get through, and it's going to take a while probably, but hey, I got time and you got ears. So first on my lineup today is TSA. As of right now, we have the longest TSA lines in the history of the company, and it's partially due to a shutdown, a partial government shutdown that's been going on for about, I want to say, 40 days, or at least 40 days, and it involves Homeland Security. So basically, TSA is without pay right now, and things are not looking too good for TSA. So there's been reports how the lines at airports are 4 or 5 hours long, and then there's also reports how TSA are relying on food banks. A lot of TSA agents are selling blood. I ran across a report on ABC News that sort of like highlights more of what's happening with the shutdown. Y'all, like, I feel bad for these people because you go to work every day, you deal with some of the worst people. And then on top of it, like, they've had probably the roughest 2 years since, like, ever, because this is a 40-day shutdown, and they're probably, I want to say I ain't gonna say the only, but one of the few departments that are going without pay. And they're also not paid like a lot of money, TSA agents. Like, they make decent money, but you know what I mean? Like, it's not a, not a lot. So I have the ABC report where they are saying that TSA agents are, like, they suffering. Like, the poor people are suffering. So let's see. I'm going to show.
News Tonight with David Muir.
Good evening. We begin tonight with the worsening seen at several airports across the U.S. The TSA now reporting the longest airport wait times in history. This is now day 40 of this shutdown. Thousands of TSA officers not getting paid. Tonight, the new images coming in from some of America's busiest airports, from New York to Atlanta to Houston. Long lines of travelers snaking through terminals, some up and down floors, inside then outside the terminal and back. Tonight, some of those TSA workers now relying on food banks, some giving blood just to get paid, just to put food on the table. And what are lawmakers doing to solve this, with just days before Washington leaves for Easter break?
They're going on holiday break, and these people are without pay. Whoa.
Johnson leading us off tonight.
Tonight, more than 40 days into the partial government shutdown, and the TSA says millions of travelers are now experiencing the worst airport security lines ever.
We are being forced to consolidate lanes and may have to close smaller airports if we do not have enough officers.
The sustained backlog comes amid the spring break travel crush. Airlines expecting to fly 2.8 million passengers every day through April 30th. The TSA says more than 3,100 officers called out sick yesterday nationwide. Many of those officers say they have to find other ways to make money. About 40% of the workforce at both of Houston's airports.
That's 100% spring break loads going through the airport being processed through less than 50% of our TSA lanes. That is not sustainable.
Travelers waiting more than 3 hours to get through security. The long snaking lines even stretching outside the terminals.
You have to go down to the third floor, up to the second floor, outside, back inside. But if you're in the line, it's pretty bad.
Our Christian Cordero is there.
Here at Houston's Bush Intercontinental Airport, they have seen record TSA call-out numbers over the past week. They usually have 8 security checkpoints. Today, they're down to 2.
And from New York to Atlanta to New Orleans, more than 30% of TSA officers not reporting to work yesterday. The biggest impact during those peak travel times.
We were here yesterday, and our flight left at 8:05. We got here at 3:30. We missed our flight after being in line for like 4 hours.
Tonight, about 50,000 TSA officers have gone nearly a month without pay. For some, this is their second government shutdown since October.
Some are sleeping in their cars, selling their blood and plasma, and taking on second jobs to make ends meet.
TSA officer Taylor Desert in Indianapolis says she's now forced to rely on her local food bank.
It's extremely awkward. I never thought I would be in a position to where working for the federal government that I would need to go to a food bank.
And now hundreds of ICE agents who are still getting paid deployed to at least 14 different airports to assist with crowd management. But this TSA employee says those agents are seemingly unable to help speed up the lines.
I would hate to call out another agency, but what I'm getting from some of the officers is that they're just in the way.
In Washington, mounting pressure for senators to reach a deal before Friday's scheduled 2-week recess and another missed paycheck for those government workers. Today, frustration boiling over.
They keep asking for things. We give them what they want, and then they say no.
Republicans offering to fully fund all DHS agencies except immigration enforcement. But Democrats again insisting on specific reforms to immigration operations, including barring ICE agents from wearing masks and requiring warrants before they can enter private homes.
I don't know how long Republicans are going to obstruct and block this really simple solution. Pay TSA, pay FEMA.
And David, we've seen those ICE agents going to more airports across the country. Again, they are still getting paid while TSA officers are not. And now President Trump says he may have to call up the National Guard for more help. David.
Whit Johnson leading us off.
Okay, so we have TSA agents that are without pay, that are selling blood, relied on food banks, and now instead of just opening back up, they're calling in ICE agents to help with TSA lines. I don't know about this, y'all. I don't know. Just a lot about this doesn't feel good. This feels like this is going to get a lot worse before it even could potentially get better. But I have my next story coming up. Let me see. Iran. We are in a war, y'all. A war with Iran. And these people, they're not letting up. The crazy part is Trump is lying to the people, saying, well, they want to negotiate a plan. They want to da-da-da-da. And it's like, not so much, sir. Because these people, they rejected his 15-point plan. And then they also got on air and sarcastically said what the U.S. is negotiating with themselves. So, in other words, they were saying, this war is ongoing. You started this, and we gonna finish this. And I don't like the way this feels. Like, this isn't like something that, I don't think it's cool. And it's just like I'm scared. I ain't gonna tell you no lies. I'm scared. If you think that a war is something to play with, like, I'm a millennial. I entered the workforce in 2008 at the height of the real estate crash, while the war in the Middle East was still brewing, when Bush was in office. And all this stuff that was happening, it made housing difficult. It made gas prices soar. It made finding a job really difficult. And I live in the South, Texas, Louisiana. The oil and gas industry really protected those states from getting hit hard by the recession. But still in all, it affected everybody. And I don't want to deal with that again. It's crazy, but here we are. Here we are. So, I want to move to Iran. Let's see. So I ran to the report, or should I say the article on The Guardian, and it reads about how Donald Trump claimed Iran still wants a deal, but according to these people, nah. They said the war would end on their terms when they decided the war is over. And I don't know. They're also sending for more troops over there. They not calming down. It looks like it's up and it's stuck. That's what they saying. It's up and it's stuck. And I don't know what the president got us into, but you know, it is what it is. This is ABC News. Oh, you gonna come on.
Taking place. Tonight, President Trump surging forces to the region, including up to 1,500 troops from the 82nd Airborne. And now even some Republicans are expressing concern tonight about possible American boots on the ground in Iran. Rachel Scott at the White House tonight.
Tonight, Iran flatly rejecting President Trump's 15-point plan to end the war, insisting no negotiations are taking place, despite what the president says.
They want to make a deal so badly.
But Iran's foreign minister today declaring there are no negotiations with the enemy. Iran sarcastically asking if Americans were negotiating with yourselves. Despite the clashing claims, sources tell us the two sides are trading messages, using Pakistan as a go-between. Iran aware Trump's overtures come as he surges military forces to the region. Up to 1,500 American paratroopers from the Army's 82nd Airborne Division now on the way. The president has not ruled out putting boots on the ground. Tonight, even some top Republicans sounding concern.
My hope is that we do not have boots on the ground.
In a new Quinnipiac poll, just 34% of voters approve of how the president is handling Iran. 59% disapprove. Gas prices up more than $1, with the average price of a gallon soon expected to hit $4. That number even higher in some parts of the country.
See, this is how it started back in the early 2000s. The gas prices went through the roof. We were paying $4 a gallon. And this was back in the day. It's not like it is today. So imagine, you being paid $7, $8 an hour, and half of your hourly wage is used to buy a gallon of gas. That's how it was. And this is it. Like, it looks so familiar. Like, I have a lot of PTSD about it. I don't know. It just feels. It just don't feel good.
Rising cost of fuel now causing airlines to raise ticket prices. The CEO of United Airlines telling ABC News customers should expect an increase of roughly 20%. And tonight, for the first time ever, the U.S. Postal Service is preparing to roll out a fuel surcharge on package deliveries, probably around 8%. For voters, it's all adding up. That new poll showing only 38% approve of how the president is handling the economy. Another reason the president may be looking for an off-ramp as this war enters its 5th week.
As more troops head to the Middle East tonight, the Pentagon briefing lawmakers over on Capitol Hill, with the top Republican on the House Armed Services Committee sounding unsatisfied, telling reporters we want to know more about what's going on, what the options are, and why they're being considered, saying we're just not getting enough answers to those questions, David.
Rachel Scott live at the White House again tonight. Rachel, thank you. We move on tonight to Savannah Guthrie's first.
So yes, this don't look like it's going to be over with anytime soon. So all I can say is hang in there, y'all. Just hang in there. Just wait, hold on. When was this man elected? 2024 to 2025. Jeez, he's only been in the White House for a full year and some change. Yeah. Hang in there, y'all. Just hold on. Just buckle our seatbelts. Hope for the best and pray the worst don't happen. But it feels like it is, though. I don't like it. So next on the dock is a fire truck that collided into a plane. I have a lot of questions about this, because in all my life I have seen quite a bit of craziness, you know, but there's just something about this that it don't sit right with me. My thing is, if you ever been to like an airport, it's not a quiet place. It's not by any stretch of the imagination. It's very loud. It's like it's not some place that you would want to play around with, you know? And whenever I saw this, I just thought that whoever is in charge, like, were they sleeping on the job, or like I'm not trying to pass judgment. I'm not, because I couldn't be an air traffic controller. I got too much ADD. As you can hear from me talking, that's why I keep pausing, because I got to refocus every time. But it's just weird the way, I don't know, like I would have to be there. Like I have to be on the ground of an airport in order to like...
Breaking news, investigators now focusing on overlapping fit.
Oh, you going to stop. There it goes. So this is Fox 5 coverage of the fire truck and the airplane collision.
Failures after the deadly plane crash at LaGuardia Airport. Good evening. Welcome to the 5 o'clock news. I'm Natasha Verma.
And I'm Steve Lacey. This afternoon, the NTSB released some key findings in their investigation.
And here's what we know tonight. The NTSB confirmed the Port Authority fire truck did not have a transponder, essentially making it invisible to runway warning systems.
All right, recordings from the tower reveal a controller cleared the truck to cross the runway just 20 seconds before the collision. A frantic stop command came too late.
And while the airport was under heavy workload due to a backlog of delayed flights, the NTSB confirms 2 controllers were on duty at the time, which is standard for a late night shift.
All right, we have team coverage for you tonight. We're going to begin with Fox 5's Lisa Evers at LaGuardia right now. Lisa.
Well, Steve and Natasha, a stunning fact revealed at this afternoon's NTSB briefing. The NTSB chairwoman saying that Port Authority fire truck was not equipped with a transponder that would have alerted the air traffic controllers to its location. In other words, they had no idea, may have had no idea, how close it was to the plane. Now, this investigation is in full swing today, what they're calling the first full day that they have access to all of the evidence, including those black boxes. Let me show you right now what's going on. On here at LaGuardia, you can see all of the crews that are out there around the plane, the crash, the debris, what's left of it. Investigators going painstakingly through what they can collect in order to put together a timeline as well as what the actual causes were, all of them, many causes, multiple causes, according to the chairwoman, that led to this crash. Now take a look at this video that we prepared for you. This will give you an idea of the size and the scope of the field here at LaGuardia Airport. You can see from the Skyfox video how vast the crash area under investigation is in total. We're told runway 4 will remain closed until Friday, so investigators can collect all the evidence that they need. The NTSB chairwoman says they're trying to figure out whether the Port Authority fire truck operated by federally trained Special Airport Rescue firefighter police officers heard the command to stop and whether there was a jam communication signal that may have overridden or delayed the warning. They also plan to interview those 2 Port Authority officers who themselves miraculously survived the crash Sunday night. That crash taking the lives of the 2 pilots and injuring dozens of others.
Okay. I'm not trying to be mean. I'm not trying to be mean. And I'm trying to be nice, and I'm trying to be understanding. But here's what I think happened. Based on what I heard so far, this is a classic ADD moment. I know it is. Whoever was driving that truck it's late at night, by the way, y'all. Because you know how you are when you're late at night. I think they say, like, the front part of your brain starts going down at nighttime, or your brain period starts going down at nighttime. And I honestly think that this person, whoever they were, they had a moment where they blanked out. It was just, okay, I gotta get over here to this other side, but meanwhile I'm daydreaming while I drive, and this happened. I don't believe that this is like, well, there was a jam signal or someone wasn't, there was some sort of malfunction on the plane or the truck. I just think this was a matter of people working at night. This is kind of the stuff that happens. People drift off, doze off, zone out, and that's what I think happened. And I'm trying to be understanding. Like, I'm not being mean. I'm not downplaying it. Like, if this is somebody, family members, I'm sorry to them, because the 2 pilots did lose their lives in this. I don't know about the drivers of the truck, but the pilots did. And they sacrificed themselves for the 72 passengers who were on the plane. So my heart goes out to their families.
There's 72 passengers total were on board. The NTSB saying it's also looking at the air traffic controller situation, saying the control tower was fully staffed for the midnight shift. Fully staffed is considered to be 2 controllers, a low number which she says has caused problems in the past. Here's what the chairwoman had to say.
This is a heavy workload environment. You had a United Airlines flight. We still have to determine what happened at shift change, which was around 10:30. We have to determine who else was in the tower and the facility and available at the time. We know that controller was still on duty for several minutes afterwards. Normally, they would be relieved. We have questions about that. Was anybody available to relieve that controller? We don't know that yet. We also have questions about what else was occurring, what other traffic they were dealing with at the time.
Now, at this moment, we can tell you that NTSB investigators are downloading all of the data for the 2 black boxes, which were extricated painstakingly by the police department, the NYPD, the FDNY, and the Port Authority police. As you can imagine, all of this activity here in terms of the investigation having an impact on travelers. Let's bring in my colleague, Antoine Lewis, for that part of the story right now. Antoine, how bad is it, or what's it looking like?
Well, just walked in there, Lisa. Within the last half hour or so, and I looked at the TSA screening line myself. You can walk right in right now. We know that that was not the case earlier this morning, because remember, the airport was closed shortly after this happened, around 11:45 on Sunday night. It reopened. LaGuardia reopened 2 o'clock yesterday afternoon. So this morning, as it's trying to rewrite itself, if you will, long lines were extending into the terminal for the TSA. We have video of that stretching well down into the terminal.
At 54 seconds, the flight is a summary of events captured on the cockpit voice recorder during the final 3 minutes of the recording. All times are referenced to the end of the CVR recording. 3 minutes and 7 seconds prior to the end of the recording, the approach controller instructed the airplane to contact LaGuardia Tower. At 2 minutes and 45 seconds, the flight crew lowered the landing gear. At 2 minutes and 22 seconds, the flight crew checked in with the LaGuardia Tower. At 2 minutes and 17 seconds, the LaGuardia Tower cleared the airplane to land on runway 4 and advised that they were number 2 for landing. At time 1 minute and 52 seconds, the flight crew set the flaps to 30 degrees. At 1 minute and 33 seconds, the flight crew set the flaps to 45 degrees. At 1 minute and 26 seconds, an electronic 1,000 call-out occurred from the enhanced ground proximity warning system, indicating that the airplane was 1,000 feet above the ground. At 1 minute and 12 seconds, the flight crew confirmed that the landing checklist was complete. At 1 minute and 3 seconds, an airport vehicle made a radio transmission to the tower, but that transmission was stepped on by another radio transmission, and the source of who made that transmission has yet to be identified. At 54 seconds, the flight crew acknowledged that the airplane was 500 feet above the ground and on a stable approach. At 40 seconds, the LaGuardia Tower asked which vehicle needed to cross a runway. At 28 seconds, Truck 1 made a radio transmission to the tower. At 26 seconds, the tower acknowledged that radio transmission. At 25 seconds, Truck 1 requested to cross runway 4 at taxiway Delta. At 20 seconds, the tower cleared Truck 1 and company to cross runway 4 at taxiway Delta. At 19 seconds, an electronic 100 enhanced ground proximity warning system callout occurred. At 17 seconds, Truck 1 read back the runway crossing clearance. At 14 seconds, an electronic 50 callout. At 12 seconds, an electronic 30 callout. And at that same time, the tower instructed a Frontier Airlines flight to hold position. At 11 seconds, an electronic 20 callout occurred. And at 10 seconds, an electronic 10 callout occurred. At 9 seconds, the tower instructed Truck 1 to stop. At 8 seconds, there was a sound consistent with the airplane's landing gear touching down on the runway. At 6 seconds, there was a pilot transfer of controls from one pilot to the other. And at 4 seconds, the tower again instructed Truck 1 to stop. At 0 seconds, the recording ended.
Okay, so as we can see, these people, I'm going to say the pilots, did everything they were supposed to do. They put everything in place. They was getting ready to land, but I'm gonna stick by my story. The drivers of the fire truck zoned out. They zoned out. They were oblivious to what was happening around them, and yeah, a car crash happened. And I mean, I ain't gonna say it's funny, but it's kind of one of those things that they're almost bound to happen. You know, it's just kind of how the workplace goes. I mean, you got to pay attention. Like when you working in the airport, you working in these loud places, you working around heavy machinery. I mean, you got to pay attention. And that's just what happened. I mean, it's unfortunate, indeed, very unfortunate. But, you know, it is what it is. Next story up is there's a doctor, a Maui doctor in Hawaii, live in beautiful Hawaii. Green hilltops, beautiful sunset, beautiful weather, scenery is just the pinnacle of what your eyes could ever see. And he out there trying to kill his wife. Like, sir, like you live in like one of the best places on earth. Like, why are you trying to kill? Well, anyway, here's the story. Because I will never understand people like this. Like, when you got a good life, like, don't mess it up with stupidness, you know? Okay, so here's the, I want to say the footage of the fellow hikers who were trying to help the man's wife after he done bust her upside the head with a rock and then try to throw her down the side of a mountain. Like, come on, man. Why would you do this to this lady? Just get a divorce. Just get a divorce. But luckily, the lady survived due to the help that she received from others. And he's standing trial for trying to kill her. And I hope he go to prison.
This is the moment a responding officer arrives to the grisly aftermath of a cliffside attack and sees Ariel Koenig appearing to struggle to walk. 2 nurses hiking that day help her. Police body cam video playing out in front of the jury for the first time. Prosecutors say it's another key piece of evidence supporting their case that a Maui doctor tried to kill his wife. The video shows Ariel being treated, her head bandaged. Prosecutors say Dr. Gerhard Koenig tried to push his wife off a cliff before striking her several times with a rock as she fought for her life. Ariel taking the stand yesterday.
And we have this moment of like, it seems like he takes a deep breath, and then he just starts hitting my face and my head with a rock.
But the defense argues she started the scuffle, the volatile end to a faltering marriage, what they describe as a months-long inappropriate relationship with a colleague.
She came after him, started kicking, punching, they end up on the ground. The evidence will show Ariel Koenig says many untrue things about what happened. And she did so, you will see, to get the upper hand in the coming divorce and custody case.
An eyewitness recounting the attack.
When you first got there, did you see the man doing anything?
Yes, he was hitting her with a rock.
Legal experts believe the eyewitness testimony in this case could be damning. But in a trial that could go on for weeks, a source close to the case believes Dr. Koenig could take the stand as early as next week.
I want you to just look around this man that's talking in Honolulu. Look how pretty that scenery is. And you out there committing murder. Like some people are just not appreciative. Come to Texas. There you go. Not Maui. But anyways, this man, he's standing trial. I don't think he gonna walk free. He up here lying on his wife, talking about she started it. So this lady gonna start a scuffle with you on the mountains by herself when y'all ain't been getting along. And if she cheat, oh God, I'm gonna stop saying that. But anyways, he need to go to prison. Because you can't do that. You can't bust somebody upside the head with a rock and then try to throw them off the side of a mountain. Like, that's just wrong. Next up. I have mixed, and I do mean mixed emotions about the next topic that I'm going to talk about. This is the story of YouTube and Meta being found liable for children being addicted to social media and all other stuff. So a jury found them liable. I'm not sure how much money the families are going to receive. Hopefully they tell me in this report, but I'm going to give you my opinion once the video plays. It'll help if I turn the volume up, huh?
House today after a jury returned a historic verdict against families crying tears of joy outside a Los Angeles courthouse today after a jury returned a historic verdict against tech giants Meta and YouTube.
Big Tech, your gig is over.
In a first-of-its-kind case surrounding the question, are social media platforms dangerous for minors? The jury finding Meta, the parent company of Instagram, and YouTube negligent in designing their platforms to be addictive. A now 20-year-old woman who says she developed depression and anxiety from using social media as a kid awarded $6 million in damages. Parents and attorneys celebrating the landmark win.
We've sent a message with this that you will be held accountable for the features.
Internal company records on full display over the course of this 5-week trial, some suggesting Instagram wanted to maximize the time kids spend on the app. Meta CEO Mark Zuckerberg told the jury the company's goals changed over time, emphasizing its newer safety features for teens. But grieving parents who say they lost children to the dark side of social media huddled over a phone watching today's verdict come in. For many, this trial has served as a referendum on what they see as the dangerous and addictive features of these platforms.
We've been screaming on the top of roofs about for years.
YouTube owner Google saying this case misunderstands YouTube and that the platform is not a social media site. Meta saying tonight teen mental health is profoundly complex and cannot be linked to a single app. Both companies now vowing to appeal. It all comes on the heels of another verdict Meta says it will appeal. A New Mexico jury awarding the state $375 million on Tuesday against the company for creating a breeding ground for child sex predators.
Laura joins us now live in studio. Laura, let's go.
Okay, so here's what I am not a fan of. According to this picture, it says fentanyl poisoning from fake oxycodone bought on social media. Forever 14. Man, I'm not being insensitive, but if your baby, because this is a baby, 14, this is a baby. If he's buying oxycodone on social media, that is 100% the parent's fault. Because at 14, where did he get the money? At 14, how does he have access to social media? Via a telephone? And who gave him a telephone? Like, I'm not a fan of this. I'm not a fan of this at all. Because, in my opinion, the parent is responsible for raising the child. Not Google or Meta or wherever he bought this a fake oxycodone. Like, baby, if your son doing oxycodone at 14, social media probably was the least of your worries. Just saying. I don't know about this. Forever 18. I wonder what happened to her. And please don't tell me that kids' mental health is linked to social media. I know it is. However, there is a such thing as an off button. You can control the Wi-Fi in your house. Hell, I mean, there's even apps that would allow you to link to your kid's phone and turn the phone off if the child is not supposed to be on it. Like, why aren't these things being used? Like, they would rather sue these companies after the kid is dead than use the tools that were created to prevent this stuff. I mean, there's apps, there's phone locks. You could cut off the Wi-Fi. I mean, there's even, I want to say, you can even tell the companies, like the providers, like AT&T and Comcast and all those people. You can even tell them that, hey, I don't want access to this URL. Block this from ever being accessible on my network. You can do that. So whenever I see stuff like this, well, social media is the fault of this. I mean, yeah, it plays a role, but fault to blame, I don't believe it's these people blame. I mean, these are just companies. I mean, my thing is, if cigarettes are still being sold and heart disease and lung cancer is still on the rise, social media should not be blamed for your kid buying fake oxycodone at 14 years old. Sorry, this is crazy work. 14 years old buying oxycodone? Social media is the last of your worries. This kid had troubles. Like troubles. Like grown people troubles. Oxycodone at 14. I have strong opinions about this. I think that a lot of parents don't raise their kids, and if their kids don't turn out the way that they want them to turn out, then it's other people's fault. They don't want to take responsibility for the things that happen within their household. They kind of just want their kids to just go out into the world, be free, stay out of trouble, use minimal supervision, and everything will just work out fine. And it don't work like that. There are days you're going to have to pop up on your kid. You're going to have to roll up to their schoolhouse. You're going to have to check what they doing. If they say they going to work at 18 years old, pop up at their job. Make sure they there. Like, there's so many things that a parent could do. I mean, what happened to the good old-fashioned sitting down and just talking to your kids? You know, what's on your mind? Tell me what's on your mind. Is anything in your life has changed? Is anyone worrying you? What have you been experiencing lately? What have you seen lately? What's troubling you? Like, what happened to that? To me, that's probably the most effective thing that you can do. Like, whenever you tell your kid that, hey, if there's something in your life that you need to get off your chest, you can always come to me. And I'm all ears, all the time. But I don't, this is not it. This ain't it. Maybe I'm old school. Like I said, I'm an early millennial. I'm an 80s baby. I just believe in cutting it off. Whatever you don't want your kid to see, just keep it out your house. But maybe it's a different time. Maybe I'm outdated. I'm willing to accept that. Okay, so next story. This is actually this is like a good feel-good story. There was a man in Massachusetts who was driving recklessly, and he ran into the tree. He spun around like a tornado girl, and he ran into the tree. Car caught fire, and now you have like a bunch of people who were in charge of, or who took it upon themselves to help him, to pull him from this vehicle. And it was pretty heartwarming. It's good to see that there's still good people in the world who are willing to help out when necessary. Because I know that it is, it can be pretty hard to find good people. But this is one feel-good story that I am really happy about. So I'm going to let you see this one, and we is going to talk about it as soon as this thing stops loading.
Witnesses say that driver would.
I am coming. You need to. There it goes.
speeding down Farm Street here when he lost control and hit the old pole that was here. That's when he wound up in the woods over there. The car caught fire with him inside.
A car in the woods starting to catch fire.
Come back over here to my work truck and got the fire extinguisher out, and I had started spraying the fire underneath the car.
Matthew Hunt lives across the street and jumped into action, dodging live power lines to try to put out the blaze.
It went from a fire probably this big, what would look like just in the leaves, to in a matter of seconds, like the hood was on fire, the inside of the car was on fire, and it was more, we got to pull this guy out. We're not putting the fire out.
He and his coworker, John Mercier, then focusing on getting the driver out as the fire quickly intensified.
I honestly do think if me and John weren't here, that guy, by the time the police and fire department had arrived, he would have been dead.
Car is on fire, party still in the vehicle.
Police also rushing in, including Officer Ryan Gonthier, who used his fire extinguisher to buy time as well, and then worked to free the man.
Well, we were still pulling him out when we had him about waist out. The inside of the car looked like it was totally on fire.
The driver eventually pulled to safety while the flames grew. The police chief commending the three men for freeing the driver and saving his life. Hunt shrugging off the praise, now joking about the situation in hindsight, just grateful someone was around.
It seemed like the right thing to do at the time.
Police charging that driver with reckless operation, speeding, and marked lanes violations. They didn't release his name, but say he'll be summoned to court. We're in Bellingham. I'm Peter Leopoulos, WCVB News Center 5.
Tonight, the Pentagon briefing lawmakers over on Capitol Hill, but the top